guys, welcome back to RGR Football. This is Daniel Harms coming to you from a new Zoom conference type style meeting. I want to be a little more interactive in my attempts to communicate with you guys through video breakdowns and that kind of thing. And I finally have a new microphone. My blue snowball came in yesterday, so this should help alleviate all of the audio issues that I've had in the past and really help communicate with you and when I'm trying to do these film breakdowns. So let's hope that this is not going to be an issue going forward. And then maybe I can, work on getting a desk, because right now I'm sitting on my couch with my coffee table, and I'm 6'4", so this is maybe 2.5 feet off the ground, so I got a hunch for it. But this is going to be more of a regular thing. I'm going to try and do one every week so that, we can get more film for you guys on this page. And that's really going to be a lot of cornerstone stuff. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it right now with Charvarius Ward. Now, this is a guy that a lot of fans in Chiefs Kingdom like and think is a true number one corner. And I think that he has the potential to be a low-end number one corner in the NFL. But right now, I think we're seeing more of a number two, especially with the way the Chiefs used him and Rashad Breeland last year. We look at kind of more of 2-2s that they had on the outside, and then a lot of safety help, and then try to use linebackers in the middle of the field, so they didn't have to do so much. And I think going into 2020, they can start to experiment a little bit more with single high safeties and having Ward use a little bit more responsibility in terms of man coverage and following receivers across the field when they break on and breaking routes. And I think that that's something that is really going to be what makes him a number one or a number two corner in the NFL going forward in his career. He's only 24, so he's definitely got room to improve and time to improve. That's something that I think that people kind of take for granted, is that they just assume right now, he's going to be the best he's going to be. He's still really young, and I get that he played really, really good last year, had a really low completion percentage in terms of being targeted, but they didn't throw at him all that much. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that he didn't play on receivers all the time. He would pass off to the middle or just follow them up the sideline, which is where his strength is, to be physical in the middle of that stem and then go through the route being physical as well, and using his long speed to make sure receivers don't get open deep. And that's the kind of thing that is going to help him be at that number two level in the NFL. And then we're going to hopefully see him blossom in 2020 with more responsibility. So we're going to go ahead and start getting into this. And I found a couple clips from games that have better receivers in them. And we're going to start with week 4 against the Lions, who I think they have a really good tandem at wide receiver in Kenny Golladay, who is, in my opinion, a budding star, if not 100% superstar in the making at wide receiver. He's got all the physical ability in the world to be one of those guys that can catch the ball from anywhere, like a DeAndre Hopkins type. He's physical, he's big, he's got long speed, and he can run really good routes to get open when he needs to. And he's down here at the bottom of the screen and matched up one-on-one here with Kenny Golladay. So Ward is going to be in press man coverage, which is where he's best. And let's go ahead and just run through it slowly one time through. And we're going to see exactly the kind of the thing I'm talking about in terms of being physical in the stem of his route. And Golladay is going to run a comeback route here, kind of up the numbers and then back breaking in. Right there, he's going to work on getting his outside arm, his right arm, on the shoulder of Kenny Golladay. And this is something that Ryan and I mentioned as well in our last session, is that he needs to get a little bit stronger with that hand that he's using to kind of throw a receiver's leverage off and use his shoulders against him a little bit, maybe open him up a little bit and throw off his timing, which is really essential in being a productive and successful corner in the NFL. And right here, he's going to go up, right up the numbers, staying step for step with them. And right here is what we're going to talk about in this clip, because, I don't have a problem with corners being grabby and handsy and, physical throughout their routes. But right about here is where Charvarius gets caught a few times. He did it against Stephon Diggs in week 9 against the Vikings. He can just try to stay with them a little bit too much, and then he just grabs onto that jersey when they're trying to make a comeback, or a quick cut to the outside in case of Stephon Diggs. So right here, he doesn't get caught, obviously. This play ends up being an incompletion. They're going to run through it here. Stafford throws it in the dirt right there in front of Golladay. You can see right there that little mark that the football made in the dirt. Granted, Ward's in good position outside of that little hold in the back and on Galladay's back. And I think that you're going to get away with a lot more than you typically will in case of Rashad Breeland. He got caught like 12 times last year holding or defensive pass interference. And that's not going to happen to a lot of corners, even if they're using a little bit more nuance to their holding and things like that. So I think that Ward is usually in pretty decent position to make plays on footballs and receivers hand in the catch point, which is his strength. Last year, he was still learning to locate the football properly, and that's going to go a long way in determining how successful he's going to be in his career. But like I said, right here, we're just working on that hand on the shoulder, Galladay to try and throw out that timing. But throughout most of his processes here, he's in good position. And really, when you're trying to stop a bigger receiver like a Kenny Galladay, you just got to be a little bit physical and kind of deal with the results. He doesn't get called in that hold. So overall, I like the reps here, just showing that he can still be, he doesn't necessarily need to have great hips and use a little bit more of a hand technique to keep with receivers, which I don't have all that big of an issue with. And now we're going to go right over to another clip from the Lions game. And here he's matched up with Marvin Jones at the top of the screen. This is going to be a little quick clip just to show you that he still has some hip fluidity to him. It's not like he's not fluid there. It's just he's not at that elite level. And just kind of ignore what happens down here with Kenny Galladay because he kind of gets open for a touchdown. But we're going to go ahead and watch Charvarius Ward's hips. And it's one of the reasons I think that he's going to be able to be trusted a little bit more with his responsibilities next year. Now, Ward's greatest attributes apply to the red zone very well. He's physical, and I think he predicts routes pretty decently for a young corner, being able to see what's going to happen before it happens and being able to move with receivers in that aspect. So here is, like I said, he's matched up on Marvin Jones, who's definitely a quicker receiver. So he tries to set him up with an outside move here. And you can see that Ward's already opening up his hips a little bit. And then right there, his shoulders go with. And that's when Marvin Jones tries to come up and underneath and get open here. But right there, you're going to see his left arm jab the chest of Marvin Jones, which it's perfect technique as well, because not only does it throw off the timing of Jones, because he's trying to get up and around Ward already, and he should technically be parallel with Ward's shoulders if he wants to be open when this ball can come out. But right there, he's going to use the momentum of Marvin Jones to help his hips move along with him, and then he's right there. He's sticking right in the hip pocket of Marvin Jones, and that's the ideal position to be in the red zone. And that's definitely what I look for in Ward to continue to do in the red zone, and just be able to use that jab a little bit more in terms of anywhere on the field. He can use it and be successful in it as long as he has that timing down. Okay, now we're going to go into probably his most impressive play of the season, and it's against DeAndre Hopkins, another big body physical receiver like I've been talking about in the red zone. So we have all these things coming together. Ward against Hopkins, both physical players in the red zone, where arguably they're both at their best. DeAndre Hopkins' ability to go up and get the ball is almost next to none because his catch radius is so incredible. And Ward is not really all that great in locating the football yet, but right here is exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about in terms of disrupting the timing of a receiver. And I want to just watch it through so you guys can get that whole, the ambiance of the clip, really, because it's really incredible to see him just body up DeAndre Hopkins, and he throws off that timing, and the ball's in the air. And this is what you want to see from this type of a corner right here. His head is fully looking for the football, and Hopkins should already be in position to make this play, because this is all based on timing in the red zone. And Watson throws this ball to a spot and not a receiver. That's exactly what I'm talking about with disrupting that timing. Because when you're looking at a receiver like Hopkins who needs to get to a spot, around a spot to catch a football, Watson's throwing it to that spot. Now, Ward, who has thrown off the entire timing of the play, is going to benefit from it because he's got his eyes on the football, finds it, and then he gets his hands on it and comes down with the interception. And one of the things that I love about Charvarius Ward is that he does not back down from anybody. Hopkins is the best receiver in the NFL right now, in my personal opinion, and he doesn't care about any of that, the physical style of play. He just gets his hands in there, he gets dirty, and he comes with interception. And that's something that we're going to look forward to more so in 2020. Hopefully he gets more interceptions. And now this is going to be a little bit different because Keenan Allen on the Chargers, who's right here in this offset stack formation, and Charvarius is going to be on him one-on-one. He's definitely more of a nuanced route runner, has great hips, great footwork, and that's something that Charvarius doesn't do very well. He doesn't follow quick, speedy receivers like that in terms of, getting his hips together and staying with a guy like Keenan Allen. So I like that they matched him up against him here because you get to see a little bit of his route anticipation, because right here he's going to stick with that inside that hip pocket of Keenan Allen. And now right here, Keenan Allen has multiple ways that he can go. He can go out, he can go up, he can go diagonal. There's so much room for him to work here. And Ward is not going to get faked out here. He's going to work with him. He's going to stay in that hip pocket, get his hand on him, and then he's going to work right here. Get this head to the head of Keenan Allen, stay on that shoulder. And Phillip Rivers is assuming that Keenan Allen's going to get open because a guy's coming to get him. And then, Ward's just going to be in great position to make a play on the football. And that's what you have to do at this level, is you have to be in great position to make plays on the football. And that's something that I've gone throughout Ward's film, and I've noticed that he's usually in good positions unless he can't locate the football. And that's something that we're going to actually go right to next after this play. But let's go ahead and watch it through one more time a little slow, just because it's hard to see all of that movement and the staying with Keenan Allen that he does. I just love that he's able to stay in his hip, use that offhand to kind of grab his jersey just a little bit to keep up with him and make a play on the football. Does a really good job. Now this, I'm sure everyone's going to remember this play. Right here, Charvarius Ward is lined up against Will Fuller out on the boundary here. Just single high, which I believe turns into two high deep safety look. And Will Fuller is one of the faster guys in the NFL. And unfortunately for Charvarius, like I said, his ball location is really not that good. As soon as he's parallel with Will Fuller here, he's looking for the football, which is really what you should be doing. He's in good position, and unfortunately, he loses it, and this is where Will Fuller breaks away. The Chiefs also used, a cover 2 slot drop on this play, which is Rashad Fenton going from a slot to a deep safety. So he's already got to get a little bit deeper than he normally is on the field, and he's just not there in time. It's not necessarily his fault, because I think Ward needs to be in the position to make this play. But he loses the football in the air, and that's something that I've attributed a lot of his failure to in 2019. Excuse me. He's just unable to locate the football at the proper time and the proper location. And I think a lot of it has to do with reading receivers and the timing on film, which is something Sam Madison spoke to at length on in one of his interviews, is getting these young guys into the room and knowing how to study tape. And being able to locate the football is not easy to do when you're running, stride for stride with a really fast guy. And unfortunately, he's just going to get burned here by a fast guy who's unable to locate the football. It's going to happen sometimes. But like I said, he's in good position. He's usually in good position to make plays. Now it's going to be up to him to work on that locating. And that's something that's very difficult to learn. But if you can start to realize, when you look back at a quarterback and you can see his arm out, then you have a few points in the air that you should be looking at quickly, especially if you're within the first 2 seconds of the play, because the ball won't be that far away from the quarterback himself. So that will help him in locating it if he can start to study quarterbacks, their tendencies, and their arm angles. And that will definitely help him going forward. But if he doesn't improve this part of his game, I don't know if his ceiling is going to get all that much better, because this is what's going to help him, with interceptions and production, and even, breaking up passes in and of itself. So he's definitely got some work to do in that area. But I do think that he's got a lot of upside in terms of that number one corner that we talked about earlier. And going into 2020, I do think it's paramount that they let him be more physical and play more one-on-one coverage against number one receivers, just to let him see what his potential is. And I get that they want to, keep the top on offenses with two deep safety looks, but I think that they can get after quarterback with more blitzes and using, that press man physical uh, coverage that they want to use to disrupt timing, and then able to use those blitzes to get to the quarterback. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love talking about football, so I always enjoy it. Just make sure you leave any comments about anything you guys want to know, ask any questions, and I'm definitely more than able to answer them. So I appreciate you guys tuning in today. Thank you.